EVE Online is over 20 years old, has a learning curve so infamous that it's actually a meme, and people are still quitting jobs, setting alarm clocks for 3 a.m., and learning Excel formulas just to play it. In 2026, with thousands of games competing for your time, attention, and sanity, is EVE Online still worth getting into in 2026? Yes, and here are 5 reasons to start playing EVE Online right now. Hello everyone, my name is Lynn, and I've been enjoying EVE Online for about 14 years now. So why do I love EVE Online still to this day? I'll save my story of what got me to stick with EVE for the end of the video, since I know you want to hear the reasons why you should start playing first. It's okay, I understand. Reason number 1, there's still free updates and changes to the game 20 years since its launch, with very little depreciation of old content. One thing that has been a staple of EVE Online since its launch in 2003 is that every game expansion and content update is free. No need to buy the new expansion to experience new content. No need to be separated from your friends who purchased the expansion and you didn't. Your subscription gets you access to everything that was and will be in EVE Online. Your investment keeps compounding with each expansion and new activity, not turned obsolete with the next game update. Whereas World of Warcraft will remove entire activities such as entire quest lines or dungeons, there's missions and activities and game systems from 2003 still in EVE Online. Hell, the Sisters of Eve Epic Arc is still a recommended activity for many new players, and that was introducing wormhole space back during the Apocrypha expansion in 2009. You get new ships, resources, and new opportunities with every game expansion to exploit and grow, keeping current players engaged with changing metas, drawing you in that now is the time, because every ship brings you new opportunities to take older content and bring it to the forefront again. You can discover money-making opportunities in an activity that still exists in EVE Online, but most players have moved on from it for newer content. The old content is never removed. It is just evolved and added onto as the years go by, adding more depth and intrigue to the game. Meaning that while some players have moved on to home front operations or have never touched it to begin with, their usual combat anomaly activities have less traffic for you to sneak in and take advantage of their absence. Reason number 2, no other MMO has a real player economy. The game developers for EVE Online, for a majority of EVE's history and even to this day, have a professional economist on their staff to monitor the health of the economy for EVE Online and its sister titles like EVE Frontier. With my research, and it could be flawed, only one other game company has an economist on their staff, being Steam itself. This allows the game developers to monitor trends, detect economic exploits, or where risk and reward are out of balance, and otherwise make gameplay decisions with the economy in mind to keep players at the forefront of that economy. That economy, save for a handful of key items, 99% of the items you find on the market are produced by a player. Someone had to go out, mine, and collect the materials for it, risk their ship to get it, sell it to someone who turned those materials into ships, modules, ammo, drones, more advanced material for more advanced modules and ships. And then while this takes care of supply, demand is supplied by blowing stuff up, which said wreckage is then turned into salvage and turned into rigs that make ships perform differently. EVE is about the cycle of collection, production, acquisition, and destruction that continually loops and feeds itself, creating constant supply and demand that some EVE players have made it their entire gameplay to realize market value, analyze the economy and market, and profit off of it, never undocking. If there's one thing to say about the EVE Online economy, in college I wrote a pair of econ papers on the market impact of the bloodbath of B-R5RB and got A's. If I could ever find them, I'll be sure to do a video critiquing my horrible work that still somehow got an A, though at this point I'm almost better off writing a new essay. I just cannot find it. Very recently, the developers just introduced a new ore called prismaticite that can refine into any mineral in the game, meaning that they just gave the players a tool to keep the market in check without developer interference. Is Isogen getting out of proportion again? Once it becomes profitable enough, For players to take prismaticite and refine it directly into isogen, the extra supply, in theory, will reduce its overall price and keep it controlled and prevent runaway pricing, except where other circumstances are at play. Reason number 3. EVE rewards patience in a way other games rarely do. EVE Online is unique in that you don't have to go out and farm fish to train fishing, or fight with a specific type of weapon to train that fighting style, or chop trees to train woodcutting. You set up a skill queue to train, and while they train, you go off and make money. Have fun while the skills train, whether you're online or offline. So you don't have to tell your friends, hey guys, I want to join you, but I really need to level up my herb lore. I've been putting it off for too long. That said, training in EVE Online can take a long time. And of course, the first inclinations most players have is to try and max out skills right away because they think that's how they'll get competitive quick. And let's take a step back here and get away from the min-maxing mindset. What happened to enjoying games in general? Why does everything have to be optimal? When I first started playing EVE in 2011 and in a new player corporation, I was told level 3 is enough to have fun, doesn't take so long to train, and you can get level 4 if you're enjoying the activity. And if you're really liking the activity, you can get it to level 5 eventually. It wasn't long ago where level 4 Tech 3 cruiser skills was considered the soft maximum, because if the ship blew up, you used to lose a random Tech 3 skill level. So why train beyond that if you're doing anything remotely risky? Can we normalize that level 3 skills is enough to get started in an activity? Get players out and playing and mastering the game. And it's okay to have a fitting implant or power grid module. Sure, it might not be min-maxed, but I'd argue you are min-maxing the fun out of the game. That's my hot take anyways. Continuing on, being told that you have to wait a month to start enjoying things is deceptive if you just look at it from the surface. Because as a new player, you do not need level 5 skills or even level 4 skills in some cases. Those skills will come literally later. That takes a months-long training queue down to just a few hours or days, and you can go do something in EVE while you wait or even come back the next day. In fact, with the Air Career Program giving up to 1.5 million skill points for completing it, and an additional million skill points for using someone's recruiter link, most of the basic skills can be trained to a comfortable level. You can also use my recruiter link down below for a free 1 million skill points to spend towards the Magic 14 skill plan, a set of skills deemed necessary for newer players. Again, I've also linked that in the description to kickstart your journey in EVE. I do receive some rewards if you subscribe to the game or purchase Plex. That said, it's not a bad thing to wait for the skills to train, especially since you can go do other things while the skills are training. Got a skill in the queue? Go make money or mine while you wait. This isn't like other games where in order to train an activity, you have to be dedicated to that activity that trains the skill. With some exception, most activities in the game are accessible right away. It trains in the background whether you're online or offline. I mentioned subscribing a little bit ago. That said, you don't need to. The alpha or free-to-play experience has evolved from completely not worth it to where a lot of players make it a point to play the game entirely free. And some players even encourage staying as an alpha until you reach 5 million skill points to maximize your dollars. 5 million skill points is the maximum amount of skill points that an alpha player can have. There is so much in the game you can do as an alpha pilot, including high-risk making activities like abyssals and slept on yet grindy activities like mission running. Hell, there's alpha-friendly incursion fleets through groups like EVE Rookies. This used to be the sweat activity back in the day. Now players have optimized it to the point that new players with some training can enjoy it. Probably the good thing about optimization, I guess. Reason number 4, new players are never too late to matter in this game. When it comes to YouTube and many other things like the stock market, the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time to start is right now. Yesterday will always be a better time to join EVE Online, and that can't be changed. What can be changed is jumping in right now and giving it a try. There's plenty of in-game events 2 to 3 times a year that reward you with skill points to spend, as well as boosters to speed up your training time. There's easy daily missions that reward skill points that shave off hours of your training, that collectively save weeks of training time. And if you're an Omega pilot, Tuesdays become your favorite day since you claim 15,000 skill points for free, as well as extra rewards from your Air daily missions. Then there's the Air Career Program I mentioned earlier, which if you complete the different activities of your choice at any time, you get up to 750,000 skill points as an alpha and up to 1.5 million skill points if you are an Omega. And guess what? If you did all the work as an alpha and you later subscribe and become an Omega, you get all those extra skill points you would have otherwise earned. You can, of course, credit card your way to skill points as well. And while I personally don't recommend doing that since it defeats the purpose of patience and growing Eve at the same pace as you are growing and learning how the game operates, I can't tell you how many times new players look at me and say, hey, when can I get a Titan? Bigger is not always better. Always remember that. If you do though, because this is your game as much as it's mine, definitely check out the links in the description below on how to get a small discount using my Marquee Dragon affiliate code. Or you can use my code on the EVE Online store if you just want to show your support for the channel. Either way, I get a small kickback and I hope you go for the Marquee Dragon store to save a little money. Reason number 5. Your choice always matters. The choices you make in the game stay forever. Who you choose to align with, who you choose to betray, who you choose to help or trust. All of these choices impact your game in ways you will not foresee for years to come. Who and how you blow up someone may affect the market. It may drive wars. It may spark friendships or rivalries. But no matter what happens in the game, the community sticks together. We may shoot each other or even stab each other in the back, but in the end, we come together where it matters. And if we're fortunate enough to make the pilgrimage to EVE Fan Fest in Iceland, we share a beer together. Remember, we're all still playing a game together, and we're all still people on the other side of the computer screen, no matter the in-game actions we take. Save the shit talking for Reddit and Counter-Strike. So if you're still here at the end of the video, I want to share how I got into EVE and what made me fall in love with it, which, depending on how you interpret it, may end up being the 6th reason for you to consider playing EVE. What's this? The video says 5 reasons. Now I'm giving you a bonus reason? That's not a reason to subscribe. I don't know what is. I've always loved space games. I grew up on Star Wars Rogue Squadron, Independence War, and Independence War II Edge of Chaos. Funny enough, I didn't even discover Elite, Freelancer, or Wing Commander until much later in life. So when I first saw EVE Online, I completely misunderstood what it was. I thought it was a Newtonian physics space sim with 6 degrees of freedom. Naturally, I was all in. I grabbed my Logitech Extreme 3D joystick, which I still have to this day, plugged it in, fired up the client, and jumped into character creation. And because EVE had a 14-day trial and I didn't realize it was a paid game, I didn't put much thought into the character, and I had no idea how important that decision was about to become, or that this character would end up following me for the rest of my life. So I undocked my IBIS, and I immediately realized there's no joystick support. Instant disappointment. I remember thinking to myself, yeah, I don't think this game is for me. A few days later, I'm still playing. I'm running tutorial missions and early agents in Uitra, or Itra. People still have not told me how to correctly pronounce it. Mining Veldspar in a Badger Mark II, which, for you newer players, is now called the Terra. When someone from a corporation called Ubuntu Incorporated messages me and asks a very reasonable question. Why are you mining in a Badger? He convinces me to join his corporation. I pack literally everything I own into a caracal and start flying to Ziona. I get about 3 jumps from the corporation headquarters and explode. Suddenly, I'm back in Uitra, staring at my pod, completely confused. Then I hop on Mumble for the first time and ask what just happened. Turns out we were at war. No one thought to mention that to the brand new guy before he autopiloted through space. So that's where I get my aversion to autopiloting in EVE. They cover my loss, hand me enough ISK for another caracal, and say, fly the same route again. We'll make them pay. Within the first few hours of actually interacting with real people in EVE Online, I'm used as bait. Another caracal goes boom, but this time we win the fight and we make the other guys hurt. And then, a few months later, I'm sitting on the Amara undock, just hanging out. I'm doing suspect canjet dueling, waiting for someone to accept a challenge, and I start starship watching. That's when it hit me. Every ship undocking and docking was a real person. Someone with a goal, an agenda, ambition. Some were heading to war. Some were hauling cargo. Some were building battleships. Some were just passing through. EVE wasn't just a game. It was alive. It was living. And for a moment, I stopped and I watched people go about their lives inside this universe. That was the moment Eve truly sank into me, and I've never been able to recreate that feeling in any other game since. Those stories have existed since 2003. They still exist in 2026 and continue to be added onto. That's the sixth reason why you should join Eve. The story is about you, your journey, and how your choices ripple across New Eden. And if you've ever been on the fence, this is the year to jump in. It's ruthless, it's interconnected, and it's beautiful. If you're still here, you might already be one of us. If you really like this video, please be sure to give this video a like. It really lets me know that you enjoy this type of video, and if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. We're close to 3,000 subscribers. Let's make it 4. And if you really enjoyed this video, why don't you check out this video here about how to get started with exploration, an activity I used to hate that turned into my main moneymaker. Lastly, I want to thank my YouTube and Patreon members. I could not make these videos without you, and I appreciate each and every one of you for your support. It means more to me than you can imagine. Bye-bye now.